Hey everyone, thanks for stopping by. Brittany Krippner here, owner and founder of Safe Haven Counseling and Wellness. And today we're going to talk about co-regulation. And simply put, it's how our brain and nervous system are sensing safety or sensing danger in the people around us. Thanks for stopping. Make sure you like and subscribe to my channel so you can be notified for more content when I post. But let's jump in for today. Let's jump in. Co-regulation. Maybe you've heard of it before, maybe you haven't, but co-regulation is 100% necessary, first for us to survive and then for us to thrive. It's our biological need, and this is a need that must be met in order to sustain our life. So what is it exactly? Co-regulation is our process, and we as humans definitely do this, but animals also do this. You might co-regulate with your dog, for example, but it's harmonizing with another's nervous system. So if you're in a room with someone, your brain and your nervous system are kind of taking on the cues. It's sensing the safety, sensing danger from this other person through their body language, through their facial expressions, respiratory rate, tone of voice, all to figure out, is this safe or is this unsafe? Now, the body really only cares about safety and danger. And so the body is going to do what the body is going to do in order to cue you in on what's really going on in this situation, what's going on with the people around us or the one person that is in our vicinity. So, for example, when you're relating to a person who maybe is in a stress state or a survival state, your body will sort of take on some of that stress. It might start mirroring the patterns of that person's tension, and you might feel stressed. You might feel like a nervous wreck. You might feel chaotic, scattered, anxious, right? That's always a key word in connection to stress. But if you're with somebody who's calm and centered, it's going to give you that calm and centered effect. And so our nervous system and how we feel can really be trained and conditioned and or regulated through somebody else. So how does co-regulation even begin, right? So we get our earliest cues of co-regulation from our parents or our caregivers, right? And then as we grow, we add our ability to self-regulate, but we never lose the need for longing to be safe and longing to be connected to others. So kind of going back to the comment about stress, if our caregivers were stressed, if our caregivers had mental health concerns or addictions or their own traumas that maybe they didn't learn how to cope with in a healthy or regulating way. Maybe they were on edge. Maybe you had someone who yelled a lot or there was fighting in your home. Our little baby brains and our baby nervous systems tune into that. And we kind of get this shortcut of wiring of how we're supposed to feel, how we're supposed to co-regulate, how we're supposed to handle situations of stress. And throughout our life, we might take on the same behaviors and we might take on the same patterns that our parents had in order to cope, and we might not even know it. We might be moving through life thinking, this is normal. This is what I saw growing up. This is how I felt growing up, even though I don't feel great or it might not be working for me. But all of our co-regulation and some of the ways that we are feeling really dates back to pre-verbal, before we were even able to understand cognitively or with our thoughts what was going on. And so the way that we're taught to co-regulate can affect how we see the world. So if you're in what's called a sympathetic state, which is linked to fight or flight, or if you're in a dorsal state, which is linked to symptoms of depression or shutdown, numbness, there's an in-between stage of freeze. Our sensory experience changes. Our sight, our taste, our touch, our hearing, our smell, all of that changes. So for example, our hearing might tune into more low frequency sounds because our dorsal vagal system and our sympathetic nervous system are very old systems. And it might tune into those low frequency sounds to kind of help warn us that there might be a predator or there might be something bad that's about to happen, right? If you think about growls of a predator, to maybe an antelope and a tiger, that antelope's not going to stick around if it's tuning into the growl of a tiger, right? It's co-regulating in a sense of, I sense that is close to me, danger. Now let me get away from that. Let me fight that or flight that. And there's more information about sympathetic and dorsal vagal and also the ventral vagal system in the polyvagal theory explained video linked in this video at the end. So another example is neutral facial expressions can be viewed as dangerous as well. And so tune into that. Tune into how you're co-regulating with people. How are you feeling around certain people? But the world really can be viewed as dangerous, and it can really be viewed as out to get you. There's always bad things happening. It never feels safe to my body. It never feels safe to me. I can never get away. I can never find comfort. If some of those things are resonating with you, think about your earliest conditions of co-regulation. And so all of this really impairs your ability to connect and to empathize with others. So, don't worry if you've got a rough start. There are things that you can do and that you can learn to self-regulate and bring more balance into your nervous system. But we also have to remember that we now live in a culture that encourages autonomy and it encourages independence. And yet we need to remember that we're actually hardwired to live in connection. And so, as I had mentioned before, co-regulation is necessary. And it's a necessary ingredient for physical and emotional well-being. And so throughout our lives, we look for and long for safe and reliable connections. Thanks for listening. Thanks for stopping by. Drop a comment, hit the like button. I'm always open for conversation and feedback, but like and subscribe to my channel, and you guys have a great day.